A night hums under the neon crown of the majestic Grand Cinema.
You already made it a scene.
The air smells like buttered popcorn and expensive perfume. A jazz trio plays from the balcony above, soft and smug. Everything feels rehearsed until one word cuts through. Rick, firm. Stop right there. Whoa. The tone isn't uncertain.
Your access is revoked.
It's policy, recited, practiced, almost proud. Rick Walters, white male, mid-40s, Navy security blazer, 2 sizes too tight, lifts an arm like a gate. His badge catches the light. Authority borrowed from a uniform. Rick. Tickets for this premiere are exclusive, sir. FEP-only.vo. The man he's blocking, Elias Grant, doesn't flinch. 42. Calm eyes. Charcoal blazer. No logos, no entourage, no proof of power. Just composure, Ilias even. VIP. Section A, Rick. Dry laugh. Sure it is. And I'm the mayor. Try the public line next door, partner. This one's for investors. Vo. Laughter ripples through the line. Small, nervous, obedient. Phones hover at chest level, pretending not to record. The velvet rope stretches between them, diagonal in the frame, a red wound of division. Ilias. You're mistaken. Rick. Shrugs. No mistake. You're not on the list, Vo. His eyes slide over Elias, skin first, judgment second. He leans close, lowering his voice just enough to sound civil for the cameras. Rick, quiet threat. Let's not make this a scene. Elias, measured. You already did. VO. A couple in sequins stops laughing. A man in line whispers, that's not right. The marquee above them flickers premiere tonight, gold letters glowing against the night like a lie pretending to be glamour. Elias's jaw tightens once and then stills. What audience, softer. Before we continue, where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. And if you believe in dignity and justice, hit like and subscribe. These stories spark change. And we're glad you're here. Now, back to Elias, red dress woman, calling. Everything okay, Rick? Rick, too loud. Just someone trying to bluff his way in. Happens every premiere. Vo. She glances over, uncertainty behind her corporate smile. Elias offers the printed ticket, smooth and deliberate. Elias. Scan it, Vo. She scans. The reader flashes green, a tiny sound easy to miss her. Unless you've been denied your whole life. Truth always speaks quietly first. Red dress woman, hesitant. It's valid. Rick snaps. Check again. Printed home fakes everywhere. Vo. She scans again. The light glows green a second time, brighter, defiant. Rick's smile cracks just enough to show the man underneath the badge. Rick. Not possible. Vo. The crowd shifts, half curious, half complicit. Someone murmurs, just let him in. But policy doesn't bend. It breaks people first. Film student, low. That's not right, man. Rick, without looking. You want to join him? Vo. Elias doesn't step back. He anchors himself in silence. Even the music from inside falters, a trumpet holding its note. Elias, quiet steel. You should step back. Rick, mocking. Or what? Elias, steady gaze. Or you're about to keep out the wrong man. Vo. For a moment the world holds its breath. Neon lights flicker, the rope trembles in the wind. Every injustice Elias ever faced stands right here wearing a badge. But he's not angry. He's calculating. The camera of history is rolling, and he's already framed. Vo. No entourage. No chauffeured car waiting at the curb. No diamond watch broadcasting value to the world. Just a man standing still, quiet enough to make arrogance nervous. Elias Grant came alone on purpose, anonymity as an audit. To see how people behaved when they thought power didn't have a face. Rick, snapping fingers. Let's go, man. You heard me. Back of the line. Vo. The velvet rope stretches tighter. The night breathes heavier. Elias doesn't move. His silence becomes a mirror, and Rick hates what he sees in it. Rick, louder to the crowd. We've had people sneak in before. Happens every premiere. Fake tickets. Fake names. You'd be surprised what people try. Vo. He isn't talking to Elias anymore. He's talking to the audience, trying to win their side before the truth shows up. But the truth is already standing right in front of him, hands calm at his sides, Red dress woman. Nervous. Sir, could I please see your confirmation email? Elias, hands phone. Of course. Bo. Her manicured fingers hover above the screen. Blue light flickers across her face. Her lips part. Uncertainty sneaking in. Red dress woman. This looks legitimate. Rick cuts in. Looks can lie. He's not on the internal VIP list, are you hearing me? Oh, she glances at Elias, then back to the list, caught between rules and reason. The line behind them grows restless. A man whispers, just let him through. Someone else mutters, you know why they won't. The words dissolve into the kind of silence that remembers every unfair thing it ever saw. Bo, slower. He's seen this before. At 19, when the theater clerk said, this crowd's not for you. At 23, outside a boardroom mistaken for catering staff. At 31, when an investor called him the assistant. And now again, at the door of a business his own company bought 6 weeks ago. Rick, leaning closer. You don't look like someone on that list, Elias, steady. What does that look like? Rick, you know exactly what I mean. Vo, he does. And that's what makes him smile. Small, tired, controlled. Every insult is a repetition, not a revelation. Red dress woman, quiet. It's green again. He's clear for entry. Rick, snarling. Then check it a third time. I said VIP only, Vo. Her thumb hesitates. The screen glows green once more, obedient to fact. But Rick's authority has already begun to stutter. He looks around, searching for allies. The crowd looks back, unmoved. Film student, aside, recording. He scanned green 3 times. Man still won't let him in. Phones rise higher. Pixels start memorizing the moment. Elias doesn't perform. He simply exists, unbothered, unshaken, immovable. His restraint draws more power than shouting ever could. Rick snaps defensive. Sir, don't make this hard. I don't want to call control, Elias, soft. Then don't. Rick, sarcastic laugh. You think this is your theater or something? Oh, that line lands heavier than Rick realizes. Elias looks past him, through the glass doors into the lobby gleaming with gold trim and corporate pride. He built that interior, the design, the funding, the merger. He's not staring at luxury. He's staring at a mirror of what he made possible. Elias, quietly to himself. Still the same door. Different decade. Red dress woman, tentative. Sir, maybe if you wait for the manager. Rick interrupts. Manager's busy. He's not seeing anyone tonight. Vio. Elias exhales once, slow, disciplined. The patience isn't surrender. It's calculation. He reaches for his phone. The screen lights up like the start of a new chapter. Elias, into phone. Controlled. Carla, stand by. Carla, VO. Faint through earpiece. Standing by, sir. Whoa, Rick smirks, thinking he's watching a man beg for help. He isn't. He's watching the fuse being lit in silence. VO, closing beat. The crowd senses it. A change in the air, subtle but certain. Every injustice has a beginning, middle, and reckoning. Elias is done with beginnings. The middle ends here. Vo. Inside the majestic grand, the sound of champagne and small talk leaks through the glass doors, the soft arrogance of comfort. Outside, the air feels sharper now, as if the night itself is waiting for something to happen. Elias raises his phone slightly. One motion. Quiet, deliberate. The same way a conductor might raise a baton before an overture. Elias. Calm. Activate protocol 7.Vio. The words are low. But they ripple like thunder under velvet. Somewhere a system hears him and obeys. Rick, half laugh. Oh, come on. What is this, a spy movie? VO. Rick chuckles too loudly, trying to grab the air back from the silence. But the silence doesn't return it. The monitor behind the ticket counter blinks. Once, twice. Then, in bold corporate font, a line appears. Executive audit in progress. Please stand by. Red dress woman. Soft gasp. Rick. What's happening? Rick snaps. Glitch. Just a tech glitch. Ignore it. Bo, but no one ignores it. Heads turn. Conversation slow. The film student lowers his camera for a moment, staring at the display. Film student whispering. Yo. That's not normal. Vo. A couple near the door glances at each other, whispering too. The word audit carries weight, even when you don't know who it belongs to, and the glow from the screen paints Rick's badge in sterile blue, the color of authority losing pulse. Rick, gruff. Sir, step back now. Before I make you Elias quiet. You've already made me, just not in the way you think. Vo, a storm is forming, but Elias doesn't raise his voice. He doesn't need to. The system answers louder than he ever could. A soft chime rings from somewhere deep inside the building. Then another screen, this time behind the lobby bar, flickers with the same message. Executive audit in progress. The repetition feels like truth echoing through marble. Red dress woman, to herself. No. This can't be random. Vo. Rick looks around, searching for help that doesn't come. Every uniform suddenly looks uncertain, like walls realizing they're not foundations. Rick, to earpiece. Control, this is front. We've got some kind of display error here. Confirm network? Control over radio. Front, we're showing an override request. Source encrypted. Do you have a name on site? Rick, negative. Possibly fraudulent. I'll handle Vo. But the word fraudulent hangs wrong now. Too heavy, too ironic. The crowd senses it. Phones lift higher. Lenses blink red. Elias stands still, back straight, framed against the shifting light of the digital display. He looks like he belongs there, because he does. Red dress woman, to Elias, whisper. Sir, what's your full name? Alias, Elias Grant. Her fingers fly across the keyboard. The system responds before she can breathe. On her screen, new text unfolds. Horizon Cinematics Holdings. Owner verification, query. Elias Grant, red dress woman, barely audible. Oh my God, Rick, mocking. What now? He hacked the database too? Vo, her eyes meet Elias's, and that's when it clicks. The posture, the calm, the certainty. People like him don't bluff. They build Elias into phone level. Carla, confirm receipt. Carla, VO, crisp, professional. Confirmed. Crosslink active. Protocol 7 verified. Do you want escalation? Elias, stand by for confirmation. Vo. Rick's smirk falters. He can't read what's happening, but he knows it's bigger than him now. He shifts his weight, aggression turning into confusion. Confusion into fear. Rick, to Elias. I don't know what you think you're doing, but this is private property. Elias, without a blink. Exactly. Vo. For the first time, Rick hesitates. The word exactly hits him harder than any shout could. He doesn't know why, but the ground just moved, and he's not standing on it anymore. A few feet away, the film student whispers to his friend. Film student, hushed. He said, Protocol 7. Friend, what's that mean? Film student, whatever it is. It means this ain't over. The night isn't loud anymore. It's loaded. Some truths don't enter with a fight. They arrive with a system notification. Vo, final beat. And while Rick's world begins to glitch, Elias's finally comes online. Vo, silence. The kind that comes right before history takes a breath. Inside the majestic grand, lights dim a little as if the building itself knows who's in charge. Every screen glows the same sentence now, like truth repeating itself until no one can ignore it. Screen, digital text. Owner verified, Elias Grant. Vo. Two words that change the temperature of the room. Phones rise higher, murmurs flicker like candlelight. The crowd sees it, and suddenly every smirk, every whisper, every ounce of disbelief collapses under the weight of confirmation. Rick, choked laugh. You set me up. Elias, steady. No, I gave you a chance. Vo. Rick's face drains of color. His radio sputters with static, the sound of control evaporating. The red velvet rope that divided them moments ago now lies slack like it finally understood its mistake. Red dress woman, shocked whisper. He was green from the start. Vo. Elias steps forward, calm, exact. He doesn't raise his voice. He raises the truth. Elias, you said this line was for investors. Rick, horse. Yeah, and? Elias, guess you were right. Vo. He slides a slim black access card from his jacket pocket. A single swipe. The scanner blinks, access granted. The door opens like it's bowing. The sound of the chime echoes through the lobby. Crisp, final, irreversible. The kind of sound that turns power into presence. Film student. In awe. He didn't even raise his voice once. Vo. Cameras flash. Every angle suddenly belongs to Elias. He doesn't perform. He just exists, and the world adjusts around him. Rick. Scrambling. Wait. This is some kind of mistake.
I'll call corporate.
Elias, please do. Ask them who signs your paychecks. VO. That lands like a verdict. Rick opens his mouth, but the words never come. His authority is now a shadow with nowhere to stand. Red dress woman. Soft, terrified respect. Mr. Grant. I didn't know. Alias, gentle. You weren't supposed to, but you watched. That matters, Dagtivo. It's not a scolding. It's mercy wrapped in truth. The crowd feels it. A shift from judgment to silence, from silence to shame. Rick tries to laugh again, but it sounds like a man drowning in air. Rick, weakly, you planned this, didn't you? Elias quiet, no, you did, Vo, behind him. A smaller screen flashes. Security review initiated. ID 042. Rick stares at his badge as if it's turning red hot against his chest. Control, over radio. Front desk, confirm status. Audit linked to ownership file. Awaiting executive authorization. Rick's hands shake. His voice breaks between fear and pride. Rick, to radio. Cancel that command. I said cancel it. Control unable to comply. Executive override active, VO. The crowd gasps. Rick turns toward Elias, but there's no anger left to hide behind, only realization. Rick, you can't do this to me. Elias, calmly. I'm not doing anything to you. I'm just letting your choices finish their job. VO. The line hits like a confession. Even the film student lowers his camera, realizing some moments are too sacred for pixels. VO. Slower. For years, Elias built things people doubted. Tonight, he doesn't have to prove he belongs, and the building itself does it for him. Red dress woman softly. What happens now? Elias, now? We correct the record. VO. Every injustice deserves documentation. Every silence deserves its echo. And tonight, both are finally being recorded at once. VO, final beat. Power doesn't always roar. Sometimes it simply stands still and lets the truth do the talking. Bo. Reckoning doesn't always come with thunder. Sometimes it walks in wearing silence in a pressed blazer, the kind of silence that doesn't ask for attention. It commands it. Inside the majestic grand, everything stands still. Even the champagne bubbles in their glasses seem to freeze, waiting for permission to rise. Elias doesn't move quickly. Power never needs to. Elias to earpiece measured. Carla, begin staff review. Include incident details. Unauthorized denial of entry. Physical contact. Verbal escalation. Carla, VO, calm and crisp. Confirmed. HR and legal notified. Local management standing by. VO. Each word lands like a soft gavel. Rick opens his mouth, but the sound that comes out isn't authority. It's fear trying to sound familiar. Rick, defensive. You can't fire me. You don't even know what I've been dealing with tonight. You don't know me, Elias, steady, unmoved. You're right. I don't know you, but I know what you represent, and that's enough. Foe. Rick flinches, as if truth just hit him harder than any consequence ever could. The red badge on his chest blinks once, a pulse that doesn't belong to him anymore. Control, over radio. Front, your badge ID 042 flagged for review. Please await confirmation. Rick, snapping. Negative. Cancel that! Alias, Carla, proceed. Carla, VO, acknowledged. Revoking credentials, VO, the scanner beeps. The light on Rick's badge turns from blue to red. In the crowd, someone gasps. It's quiet, but it sounds like justice exhaling for the first time in years. Red dress woman, nervous, guilt-ridden. Sir. He scanned green. I should have said something earlier. Elias, gentle, not angry. You did say something. You were just ignored. Next time, don't whisper. Vo. A lesson given without a lecture. She nods, eyes shining because kindness from power hits deeper than punishment ever could. Film student, filming. He didn't yell once. Friend, he didn't have to. Foe. Elias turns toward the crowd, not as a man showing off, but as someone reminding them what leadership looks like when it doesn't flinch. Elias, to the crowd. Power isn't proven by who you can keep out. It's proven by what you can rise above. Vo. For a second, the lobby feels like a courtroom without a judge, a sermon without a preacher. Every eye locked on him, not because he demanded it, but because truth earned it. Rick, voice cracking. You planned this, didn't you? You came here just to humiliate me. Elias, soft, calm as dusk. No, I came to watch a movie. You wrote the rest yourself. VO. The line lands like a verdict wrapped in velvet. Rick's hands fall to his sides. He doesn't look like security anymore. He looks like a man who finally understands what he guarded all his life. Wasn't a door, but a wall. Red dress woman. To Elias, quiet. What happens now? Elias, now? We clean up. We rebuild. And we remember. VO. A corporate team in suits rushes in from the elevator corridor. The kind of people who usually command rooms, now walking slower, careful not to interrupt. They see the name Elias Grant glowing across every monitor and realize who they're standing before. OPS manager, bowing slightly. Mr. Grant. Your instructions? Elias, close the theater tonight. Reopen tomorrow. Under new management, humanity, VO, the words hang in the air like scripture. Rick hears them too. And for the first time all evening, he doesn't argue. He just lowers his head in the shape of regret or maybe recognition. Rick, barely audible. You could have just told me who you were. Elias, final, calm. I shouldn't have to be anyone to be let in. VO. The crowd doesn't clap yet. They just stand in the quiet. The kind of quiet that feels like a sunrise after a long night. Justice doesn't need applause. It just needs witnesses. The night exhales long and clean as if the city itself just learned something. Inside the majestic grand cinema, the chaos is gone, replaced by stillness. That sacred kind of quiet that only follows truth. The velvet rope that once divided two men now hangs open, limp, harmless. A symbol out of work, VO, slow. Elias doesn't step over it. He lifts it gently, respectfully, when for others to pass. A small gesture, but it carries the weight of 1,000 unspoken lessons. Red dress woman, softly. Thank you. For not shouting. Elias, half smile. Justice doesn't need volume, only proof. VO. He walks forward through the glass doors he was denied minutes ago. The marble floor catches his reflection. Taller now, steadier. Above him, the chandeliers sparkle as if trying to apologize. A father in the line whispers to his daughter, Father, low. That's how you answer disrespect and with dignity. She nods, eyes wide, memorizing the image like scripture. VO. The film student lowers his camera. The story is already told. What's left is silence, the sound of correction. Behind them, Rick stands alone, shoulders heavy, badge red. He looks smaller than before, not because of punishment, but because he finally sees himself without the uniform. Rick, barely audible. I was just doing my job. Elias, without turning. Your job was to guard the door, not the bias behind it. VO. It lands soft, not cruel. Like mercy disguised as truth. Rick's lips part, but no words come out. Some lessons are meant to echo, not answer. Elias pauses at the center of the lobby, surrounded by the architecture he built. Posters of other people's stories line the walls. Heroes, rebels, dreamers. Tonight he finally feels like one of them. Carla, VO, calm. Mr. Grant presses requesting a statement. Elias, just one line. Carla, which one, sir? Elias, quiet authority. The majestic Grand will close tonight for restructuring. Tomorrow it reopens under new management. Humanity. Carla. Understood. It's already trending. VO. He exhales. Not satisfaction, release. The kind that comes when patience finally gets its return on investment. He turns, giving the lobby one last look. Every inch of this place once held someone else's definition of him. Now it holds his vow gentle. Power isn't loud. It's the ability to stay kind when you have every reason not to be. Elias walks past the ticket counter. The same woman who once doubted his entry now watches in reverent silence. He nods once, not as a superior, as a teacher who never needed a classroom. He reaches the exit doors. City lights wash over his face, soft gold against brown skin. Outside, a drizzle begins. Not dramatic, just cleansing. Bo. Some storms don't destroy. They rinse the story clean. Elias steps into the night. His phone buzzes, messages, headlines, investors. He silences them all. For once, he doesn't need to prove anything. He looks up at the glowing sign above the theater. Majestic Grand Cinema. The name feels different now. Less about grandeur, more about grace. He speaks quietly, not to anyone, but to the air that once refused to let him in. Elias, soft, final. You tried to keep me out, but you were never guarding the door. You were guarding your limits, Abuvo. And just like that, the rope, the rule, the rumor, and all of it falls away. The only thing left standing is a man who never needed to raise his voice to raise the standard. VO. Breaking points don't arrive with warning shots. They creep in, slow and silent, then crack the air like a truth too heavy to stay quiet. Inside the majestic grand, the tension is electric. Security radios sputter. The crowd holds its breath. And Rick Walters, the man who thought he owned the door, suddenly realizes he's standing at one he can't walk through. He jabs a finger toward Elias, voice brittle, loud enough to sound brave. Rick snapping, "Get him out." Now. Vo. Two guards appear from the hallway, their steps unsure. They exchange a look, the universal glance of men realizing the script has flipped. Guard number 1, quiet. Sir, we're getting a code on the system. Rick, cutting in. You heard me? I said remove him. Phobos Elias doesn't move. He doesn't flinch. His stillness is heavier than their command. The guards hesitate, waiting for an authority that suddenly feels smaller than the man they're told to escort. Red dress woman, soft. Please don't do this. Foe. The room is quiet enough to hear her voice tremble, the first crack in fear's glass cage. Elias looks toward her, calm, deliberate. Elias, it's all right. Let them finish what they started. Vo. Rick mistakes patience for permission. He steps forward, face flushed, shouting for everyone to hear. Rick, this is my theater tonight, you hear me? I'm in charge here, Elias, turning his head slow. No, you were in charge of the door. The rest was never yours. Vo. The line lands like a verdict. Every phone in the lobby lifts a little higher. The cameras are rolling, but no one's sure who's watching, or who's being judged. The speakers above the lobby crackle once. A clean, professional voice cutting through the tension. Carla, over PA. Mr. Grant, your verification request is complete. Ownership confirmed. Would you like to proceed with staff review? Though the silence afterward is pure shock. Rick's face drains white. The crowd looks at Elias the way people look at sunrise after a long storm. Rick, hoarse whisper. What? What did she call you? Elias, quiet steel. Mr. Grant, owner of Horizon Cinematics, including this theater. Oh. A gasp rolls through the crowd, small then louder like an ocean remembering how to move. The guards lower their hands. Rick takes one step back, Rick shaking his head. No, that can't be true. You're bluffing, Vo. Elias slides his phone back into his pocket. He doesn't need to argue. The building is already speaking for him. Across the monitors, the same message flashes in rhythm with the heartbeat of justice. Executive command in progress. ID 042 under review. Red dress woman, covering her mouth. That's you, Rick. Oh, he looks down at his badge, blinking red. The light washes his face, the color of consequence. Rick, shouting, panicking. You can't do this. I've worked here for 12 years. Elias, steady. Then you should have learned something by now. Vo. Rick's radio beeps again, the final chime of a man losing access to his own voice. Control, through static. Security ID 042 revoked. Authorization complete. VO, a single beep follows. The badge light dies. The sound that replaces it isn't loud, amidst applause. Slow, hesitant human, film student, from behind the camera. He just shut the system down. From his phone. Elias doesn't even look at him. He just exhales. Not pride, not vengeance, just balance restored. Elias, to the crowd level. This place was built to tell stories. Let tonight remind us what kind of stories matter. No slogan. No outburst. Just a line clean enough to live on the marquee tomorrow. The crowd knows it too. You can see it in their faces. Some are proud. Some are ashamed. All are changed. Rick's eyes fill with something he's never shown before, not anger, not arrogance, but understanding. Rick, quiet, broken. I didn't mean, Elias interrupts gentle. Intent doesn't erase impact. Remember that. The music from inside restarts. Slow jazz. The same tune from the beginning. But it sounds different now, like the building's heartbeat has learned a new rhythm. Final beat. Power didn't have to fight tonight. It simply remembered who it was and let the rest of the world catch up. Reveals don't explode. They unfold, slow, precise, and impossible to stop. Like light slipping under a closed door until the whole room knows it's morning. Inside the majestic grand cinema, the lobby is still. Only one sound remains. The soft hum of screens flashing in quiet unison. Owner verified, alias Grant. It's less an announcement than a reckoning written in pixels. Elias stands in the center of it, calm as marble, steady as math. The world is finally aligned with the truth he carried in silence. Rick, barely whispering. You set me up. You made me look like a fool. Elias, soft. You didn't need my help for that. The crowd exhales, half shock, half admiration. Every camera light flickers. Every ego in the room silently adjusts its posture. Elias steps closer to the check-in podium. His footsteps echo and slow, patient, unforgiving. He stops beside the scanner, pulls a slim black access card from his pocket and places it on the reader. A quiet chime. Access granted. Simple, absolute. The sound of a door remembering who it belongs to. Elias. Low. You said this line was for investors. Guess you were right. The crowd reacts, laughter first, then awe. It's not humor. It's relief. The collective release of injustice corrected in real time. Rick takes a step back. The red badge on his chest blinks faster like a heartbeat losing rhythm. Rick, voice trembling. You think this makes you better than me? Elias, calm. No. It reminds me I never had to prove that I wasn't. There's no anger, no sting. Just clarity. And clarity is lethal when truth holds the mic. The film student keeps recording. His hands shake, not from fear but reverence. Behind him someone whispers, "That's him, the one who owns the chain." Another voice answers, "He doesn't act like it." Exactly. That's the point. Elias turns slightly, scanning the faces that once turned away. He doesn't look for apology. He looks for understanding, and finds it in a few quiet eyes. Red dress woman, softly, trembling. Mr. Grant. What do we do now? Elias, you tell the truth. That's the only job that never expires. Her nod is small but certain. The first act of redemption in a room full of regret. Elias looks back at Rick, whose voice has collapsed into disbelief. Rick, hoarse. 12 years I've worked this place. 12 years and no one ever told me. Elias, interrupting gently. That you were standing in someone else's house. Now you know. Devo. He doesn't deliver the line to humiliate. He delivers it to educate. Because real power doesn't crush. It corrects. The overhead speakers crackle again. Calm, professional, irreversible. Carla, over system. Mr. Grant, security audit complete. All executive rights transferred. Full ownership active across network. Every monitor blinks once, then fades to a soft gold glow. The building itself seems to relax as if it can finally breathe. Rick stumbles backward, shaking his head. Rick. You can't just walk in and take over everything. Elias, steady, final. I didn't walk in to take over. I walked in to remind it who it already belonged to. Oh, that one sentence breaks him. The same way sunlight breaks a shadow. No noise, just disappearance. The crowd is silent, not out of shock anymore, but respect. Even the film student lowers his camera. The truth doesn't need recording anymore. It's carved into memory. Oh, slower. Justice doesn't roar. It resonates. And tonight it found its frequency. Elias pockets his card and glances once toward the theater doors, the place he was told he couldn't enter. Now they open on their own. Elias, quiet to himself. Showtime. Fio. He walks through, leaving behind the echo of a simple fact. Power doesn't announce itself. It's recognized when arrogance runs out of excuses. Fo. Reckoning isn't chaos. It's order, restored, quiet, mathematical. The world doesn't explode when truth lands. It rearranges itself to fit around it. Inside the majestic grand, the air feels different now. Every sound, the hum of the lights, the shuffle of feet, the nervous breaths, falls into rhythm around Elias Grant. For the first time tonight, the building looks exactly as it should, under his command. Bo, slower. Rick stands still, his badge now dead weight on his chest. The crowd watches him the way you'd watch a man waking from a dream he built himself into. Red dress woman, quietly to Elias. Sir, I didn't mean to. Elias, gentle. You followed instruction. That's different from disrespect, Vio. His tone is calm, but the edge is in its precision. Mercy isn't weakness, it's mastery. Elias turns to Rick, and the room seems to lean toward the confrontation like gravity chose a new direction. Elias, measured. But you didn't follow instruction. You followed your ego. Rick, horse shaking. You can't just fire me. Not like this. Bo. Elias glances toward the ceiling, not to pray but to remind himself that restraint is the ultimate luxury. Then into his earpiece, Elias. Carla, revoke badge 042. Effective immediately. Carla, VO composed, confirmed. Authorization logged. Revocation live.vo. A soft chime echoes. Rick's badge flashes red, then black, the digital equivalent of silence. He looks down, touches it once as if begging it to blink again. It doesn't, the crowd murmurs. Some gasp, others nod. No one objects. Film student, low, awed. He just ended his access like deleting a file. Bo. Exactly. No yelling, no chaos, just consequence. Rick looks up, eyes glassy, pride crumbling faster than his defenses. Rick, I gave my life to this place. 12 years, Elias, steady. And you spent them guarding the wrong doors. Bo. The words hang in the air, gentle, but heavy enough to bow heads. Even the light seemed to dim out of respect. Red dress woman, softly, almost to herself. He warned him. Vo, yes he did. Elias warned everyone, not with words, but with the example of stillness. Stillness isn't an action, it's preparation. And when truth finally moves, now it moves like law. Rick, to the crowd, desperate. You all saw what happened. You're just gonna let him... Vo. He stops mid-sentence, realizing no one's on his side anymore. The room that once obeyed him now orbits around someone else. That's how power really shifts, and quietly, completely, irreversibly. Elias turns toward crowd. This is bigger than one mistake. It's about what happens when pride gets a uniform and calls itself policy. BO. A low murmur of agreement rises. Some film-goers start clapping, small at first, then steady. Not for revenge and for relief. Because seeing fairness restored feels like exhaling after holding your breath too long. Elias, continuing, calm. Let this moment stand. Let it remind everyone, decency is not conditional. Bo. He pauses in a long, deliberate beat. Rick stands frozen, badge still lifeless on his chest. The guards who once followed his command now look at Elias for direction. Elias, final, to Rick. Your shift's over. VO. That single sentence carries more weight than any order ever shouted. Rick doesn't argue. He just lowers his gaze, turns, and walks toward the exit that once belonged to him. The crowd parts, silent, not cruel but final. Elias watches him go, eyes calm, unreadable. Then he exhales, the sound of gravity resetting. Vo, gentle. Justice, done correctly, doesn't humiliate. It teaches. And tonight every lesson landed where it was meant to. Elias steps closer to the counter, resting one hand on the polished marble, the same place Rick once slammed his palm. Elias, soft, to himself. Balance restored. VO, final beat. The monitors fade from corporate blue to warm amber. The crowd begins to move again. No one cheers. They don't need to. Silence is the applause truth deserves. Oh. It takes a moment for the crowd to process what they've just seen. Not a spectacle. Not a fight. Just balance and delivered calmly, efficiently, undeniably. The energy inside the majestic grand cinema shifts. The same marble floor that carried arrogance now reflects awareness. You can feel it. In the silence, in the posture of the people watching. This is the sound of a room learning something. A young man, the film student, lowers his phone. He's been recording the entire time, but his hands are trembling now. Film student, quiet. To his friend. He didn't raise his voice once. Friend. Yeah, he didn't have to. That realization ripples outward, subtle but unstoppable. It moves through the line across every onlooker, into every lens that caught even a second of the truth. No hashtags yet, no captions, just witnesses. And witnessing is where justice begins. Bo, slower. Rick stands near the door, small, shrinking, eyes hollow. No one mocks him. Elias never needed vengeance, only correction. That's the difference between ego and power. Elias turns slightly, addressing no one in particular, and everyone at once. Elias, clear, controlled. This theater was built to tell stories. But somewhere along the way it started screening prejudice instead of art. VO, it's not a speech. It's a mirror, and everyone in the room sees a version of themselves inside it. Red dress woman, softly to Elias. I'll do better. Sir Elias nods. Good. Make sure everyone else does too. Oh. He doesn't demand apology. He invites accountability. That's rarer, and far more powerful. A man from the crowd steps forward. Middle-aged, wearing a business suit, the kind who might have been silent on another day. Businessman. Mr. Grant. I manage 2 venues downtown. If you ever need. Alias, cutting gently. Just make sure your doors stay open. To everyone. That's all I need. Bo. The man nods, ashamed and inspired at once. The applause starts again. Quiet, restrained, but meaningful. Not the kind of clapping that celebrates victory. The kind that honors correction. In the corner, the film student turns his phone around, speaking softly to the lens. Film student, to camera. You ever see justice happen right in front of you? Like not in a court, not online, just right there? That's what this was. That's what people mean when they say black excellence doesn't yell. It executes. Vo. He doesn't know it yet, but that clip will travel farther than he imagines. The story will find its way into timelines, headlines, conversations, but the real victory happened here, in real time, in real air. Bo. Reflective. Elias stands in the center of it all, still, dignified. He doesn't look proud. He looks relieved, as if the world finally caught up to the truth he's been living in for years. Rick shifts in the background, watching, unsure whether to leave or to listen. For once, he chooses silence. Maybe that's growth. VO, soft. Sometimes the most radical thing a man can do is be calm when the world expects him to erupt. Elias didn't prove them wrong. He proved them irrelevant. Elias, to staff. Let the guests in. Tonight's screening is free. Everyone gets a seat, while the crowd gasps. Even the red-dressed woman stares, speechless. Elias. If this place is going to stand for anything, let it stand for fairness. Bo. That's leadership. Not a quote, not a posture. A decision that echoes louder than any speech. Guests begin to enter, hesitant at first. Then faster. Laughter returning, light returning. The theater fills not with noise, but with renewal. Bo. Final beat. And as Elias watches them walk past the rope that once blocked him, you can almost hear the universe take notes. Because dignity, once seen, can't be unseen. Bo. Consequence doesn't always shout. Sometimes it arrives dressed in professionalism. A press badge, a clipboard, a headline waiting to be written. By the time the crowd settles, the majestic Grand Cinema has already transformed. The same air that once reeked of entitlement now hums with humility. At the far end of the lobby, the elevator doors slide open. 3 corporate staffers step out, suits pressed, faces pale. They move carefully like people entering a church they accidentally desecrated. Staffer 1, low, nervous. Mr. Grant. Sir, we didn't realize you were on site tonight, Elias measured. That's why I came alone, to see how my company treats people when no one's watching. The sentence lands like judgment disguised as calm. The staffers exchange glances, the way executives do when they realize the spreadsheet never accounted for humanity. Staffer 2, fumbling words. Sir, the media's already outside. Local press, maybe national. They're asking for a comment. VO, Elias doesn't react. He simply takes out his phone, scrolling past messages, updates, alerts, all the noise that people mistake for importance. Then, quietly, Elias. Just one line. Staffer 3, uncertain. A full statement or, Elias, interrupts. One line. That's all truth needs, Vo. They wait. He looks around the room, the rope, the counters, the faces. The same space that tried to define his worth now holds the echo of its own correction. He speaks softly, every word carved from composure. Elias. The majestic Grand will close tonight for restructuring. Tomorrow it reopens under new management, humanity, Vo. For a beat, no one moves. Then the staffers nod and slowly, reverently, and like they just heard something holy. Staffer 1, quiet awe. That's powerful, sir. Elias. No, that's necessary. Vo. Outside, the glass doors flicker with camera flashes. The film student's video has already traveled across timelines, headlines, and hearts. But Elias doesn't look out. He's not chasing an audience, he's protecting a principle. Red dress woman approaching, hesitant. Mr. Grant. The guests are seated. They're waiting for the screening. Should we cancel the show? Elias, a slight smile. No, let it play. People came for a story. Let them leave with one worth remembering. Bo. The crowd inside the theater begins to applaud faintly, not for entertainment, but for empathy. Somewhere in the balcony, the jazz trio starts again, softer this time, like a benediction. Rick still stands near the exit, silent, badge gone, eyes empty. He looks at Elias, not with hatred now, but with something harder to bear, understanding. Rick, quiet. You changed everything tonight, Elias turns to him. No, I just reminded this place what it was supposed to stand for. Vo. Rick nods once, small, almost grateful. Because sometimes humility is the first step toward redemption. The press outside starts chanting his name. Camera flashes bounce against the glass like lightning looking for a place to land. Elias doesn't move toward them. He stays still, the way truth does when it knows it doesn't need to chase validation. Carla, VO, through earpiece. Statement published. Engagement climbing fast. Public sentiment overwhelmingly positive. Elias smiles faintly. Good. Let the message travel further than the mistake ever did. VO. He slips the phone back into his pocket. In the glass reflection behind him, the words owner verified still glow faintly. Not as a boast, but as proof that dignity leaves fingerprints. The staffers disperse to handle logistics. The crowd begins to move again, and Elias stands exactly where the confrontation began. Same spot, new meaning. Vo, softer. Power, at its purest, isn't revenge. It's repair. And tonight repair looks like grace wrapped in authority. Elias, to himself almost a whisper. Justice served. Dignity restored now. Back to business, Vo, final beat. Outside, the reporters wait for quotes. Inside, Elias Grant has already written the only one that matters. The story isn't about the scandal anymore. It's about the standard. VO. Morning comes soft and gold over the majestic Grand Cinema. The city hums like it always does, unaware that something changed here last night. Not in headlines or stock prices, but in the quiet architecture of how people treat each other. Inside, the lobby gleams again. Fresh light dances across the marble floors where pride once stumbled. The velvet rope is gone, folded, stored, retired. A relic of the old order. VO gentle. Elias Grant arrives early. No entourage, just a man with coffee in one hand and reflection in the other. He moves through the space like a craftsman inspecting the work of a long night's restoration. Red dress woman. Approaching. Morning. Mr. Grant, everything's ready for the reopening. Elias, warm smile. Good. Let's keep it simple. Doors open, people welcomed. No barriers this time. VO. Her nod carries more weight than any contract. She understands now. Fairness isn't a slogan, it's a standard. The first guests begin to arrive. Early risers, regular folks, some still carrying the echo of last night's viral clip. They don't just come to see a film. They come to see a truth proven real. A little boy tugs on his mother's sleeve, pointing at Elias near the counter. Boy whispers, "Mom, that's him. The man from the video. He bought the theater." Mother, softly, "He didn't just buy it, baby. He made it fair." Vo. The line moves faster now, smoother, freer. No one checks type, no one questions fit. Just tickets, smiles, and open doors. Exactly the way art and justice should flow. Elias stops near the window, watching the sunrise stain the glass in hues of fire and forgiveness. Rick's gone, left his uniform neatly folded by the staff office door, no note, no excuses. But Elias keeps the badge, not as a trophy, but as a reminder of what unchecked power looks like when it forgets humility. Carla, VO, through earpiece. Press outlets are calling it the night of quiet power. Public support at 98%. Even corporate competitors are applauding the message. Elias smiles slightly. Let them. If decency becomes competitive, we all win. Bo. Outside, a reporter waits by the marquee, mic ready, eyes bright. She calls out when she spots him. Reporter, "Mr. Grant, can we ask what last night meant to you?" Elias pauses, thinking. It meant we're not finished. Because as long as one door stays closed to the wrong person, none of us are really inside. The cameras flash. His answer trends within minutes. But for him, it's not about virality. It's about visibility, the kind that outlives the moment. He turns back toward the theater. Guests are laughing now, staff greeting them like family. No tension. Just belonging. VO, soft closing cadence. This isn't just about a cinema. It's about every boardroom, bank, and doorway where bias still hides behind policy. And every time someone like Elias Grant walks through, calm, unshaken, undeniable, the world takes one step closer to balance. Elias stops beneath the glowing marquee. For a second he looks up, at his own reflection in the glass. A man who fought nothing and won everything. Elias, quiet, final. They tried to make me smaller. Instead, they made the door bigger. Oh, he walks inside. The camera lingers on the open entrance, and no rope, no guards, no fear. Just the steady hum of fairness finally becoming policy. VO, final line. Justice didn't roar here. It whispered, and the world listened.